A Celsius scale is used to measure temperature. It's a hot, sunny day. The temperature has shot up to 40 degrees Celsius. Wow, it's raining. The weather has become so cool. The temperature has come down to 15 degrees Celsius. What would be the temperature now? How would the scale show it? 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water. Since we have snow everywhere, the temperature is now below 0 degrees Celsius. This is shown as a negative number with a minus sign, like minus 10 degrees Celsius. Have you noticed the water scale in the dam water? It shows you the reading for the water level in the dam at any given time. Water is receding in the dam and water level is going below zero. What would be the water level below zero? The water level below zero is shown by negative numbers starting from -1, -2, and so on and so forth. The car starts from its initial position, which we mark as 0. The car travels east 5 kilometers and then travels west 7 kilometers. The car went forward and then moved in the same direction. How would you represent the distance of the car from the initial position? The car started from point 0 and moved 5 kilometers forward. Then it turned and started moving towards the same point from where it had started. After traveling for 5 kilometers, it comes at point 0 again. This is the same position from where the car had started. From this position, the car then continues to move backwards for an additional 2 kilometers. Looking at the picture, we can clearly see that the car is 2 kilometers from its original position. Sam and Jack love the seashore. Traveling in a balloon is Sam's favorite sport and Jack loves water diving. Sam's balloon is at a distance of 500 meters above sea level. Jack is diving and he is 1,100 meters below sea level. How would you represent the altitude of the balloon and the depth of the underwater diver? Sea level is marked as 0. Balloon is plus 500 meters from the sea level and the underwater diver is minus 1,100 meters from the sea level. Numbers less than 0 with a minus sign attached to the number are called negative numbers. We are very familiar with natural numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Including a 0 to natural numbers gives us the set of whole numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, we know that there are negative numbers like -3, -2, -1. When the negative numbers and the whole numbers are put together, the new collection of numbers is called integers. In this collection of integers, 1, 2, 3, and so on are said to be positive integers, and -1, -2, -3, and so on are said to be negative integers. Let us turn the Celsius thermometer sideways. Does it resemble something that you know? This looks like a number line. Do you observe any pattern here? Just numbers at the bottom of the thermometer are smaller than those above them. Numbers on a number line that are on the left are smaller than numbers to the right of them. So, on the number line, numbers on the right of 0 are positive and numbers on the left of 0 are negative. Let us try marking point 5 on the number line. The number line is divided into equal parts. So, to mark point 5 on the line, we move 5 points to the right. Let us try making point -3 on the number line. The number line is divided into equal parts. So, to mark point -3 on the line, we move 3 points to the left. In Jane's house, there is a flight of stairs which goes down in the basement. The same stairs go up till the terrace. From the ground floor, Jane climbs 3 steps. Mark this position as A. She now takes another 4 steps towards the terrace. Mark this position as B. Which of the 2 positions, A or B, is higher from the ground level? B is higher, so 7 is greater than 3. Jane forgot to pick up her jacket from the basement and turns back and starts climbing down. She reaches on the -2 step. Mark this position as C. Which of the 2 positions, C or B, is higher from the ground level? Looking at the picture, it is clear that position B is higher. So, 7 is greater than -2. Now, let us use a number line to find out if a given number is greater or less than the other. We know that on a number line, numbers to the right are greater than numbers on the left. So, 7 is greater than 3. 7 is also greater than -2 and 0 is greater than -2.
We count various things for various purposes. We count things using counting numbers. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on are called counting numbers or natural numbers. The numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on are called whole numbers. 0 has no value if placed before a natural number, but it has a significant value when placed after a natural number. Although 0 is the first whole number, the first counting number is 1.
But numbers like 1/2, 1.8 and 2.2 are not whole numbers.
Whole numbers on a number line. On a number line, numbers are represented as points and distances. To represent whole numbers on a number line, draw a straight horizontal ray. Label one end of the line as 0. Mark another point to the right of 0 and label it as 1. The distance between 0 and 1 is the unit distance. Now mark points 2, 3, 4, and so on to the right side of point 1 at unit distance. This is how the number line will look like when we represent the whole numbers starting from the point 0.
Negative numbers.
Let us first understand what negative numbers are. We know that 0 means nothing, but there are instances in real life when we use numbers that are less than 0. For example, in a few cold regions in the world, the temperature goes below 0 degrees Celsius, that is,
-4
degrees Celsius, or even below -40 degrees Celsius.
The numbers -4 and -40 are less than 0 and are called negative numbers.
A negative number is any number that is less than 0. For example,
-8 is a number that is 8 less than 0. A negative number is represented with a negative sign. Any number without a negative sign is called a positive number,
which means a number that is greater than 0.
So, while -8 is -8, 7 is +7 or simply 7.
Integers.
The numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on, their opposites, -1, -2, -3, and so on, and the number 0 together form a different set of numbers.
Let us understand the set of integers with the help of the following diagram.
In this combination, each shape represents a particular number or set of numbers.
The circle represents 0. This shape represents natural numbers. The rectangle represents whole numbers. The triangle represents negative numbers.
And this shape represents integers.
Representation of integers on a number line. Integers can be represented on a number line that extends to the left and to the right.
It is indicated by arrows.
The positive integers are represented to the right of 0, and the negative integers are represented to the left of 0.
Positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, and so on are called positive integers. The number value increases as they move away from 0. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and so on are called negative integers. The number value decreases as they move away from 0. The integer 0 is neutral. It is neither positive nor negative. Positive integers do not need the positive sign before the number. For example, positive 2 can be written as just 2. Negative integers need the negative sign before the number.
If the sign is not included, the number is considered as positive.
Two integers are opposites if they are each the same distance away from 0, but on opposite sides of the number line. One will have a positive sign, the other a negative sign. In the number line shown here, positive 3 and negative 3 are opposite numbers. Now, let us look at different situations where we mark a number either as positive or negative. Money earned or deposited is marked as positive, whereas money owed or spent or withdrawn is marked as negative. Height above sea level is marked as positive, whereas depth below sea level is marked as negative. Climbing up is marked as positive, whereas coming down is marked as negative. Addition of integers. Another awesome day, students. Welcome back to my classroom. For today's lesson, you are going to learn how to add integers, whether they are positive, negative, and 0. Now let us begin. Let's try our first example. We have here positive 1 plus positive 2. I know that you already know the answer to this, but let me show you how to solve this using our number line. We have here positive 1, and we need to add positive 2. Since this is positive, we are going to move 2 times to the right in the number line. So we have 1, 2, and that is 3. Good job. Therefore, our answer is 3. It means that positive 1 plus positive 2 equals positive 3. Now let us try to solve this using some counters. I have here some chips. We have 1 positive chip and 2 positive chip. If we count them all together, we have 3 positive chips. It means that when we are adding positive integers, we are just simply going to add the numbers and copy the positive sign. But since it is already positive, we may or may not write the positive sign. Now let's go and have another one. Let us try to solve 2 plus 3. Our first integer here is positive 2. And let us add positive 3. Since it is positive, we are going to move 3 units or 3 times to the right in our number line. 1, 2, 3. And that gives us positive 5 plus positive 3. Let us try to solve this without using number lines and counters. Do you have any idea? Yes, you are correct. As we can see, they are both positive numbers. And we have to remember that when we are adding positive integers, we are just simply going to add the numbers and copy the positive sign. Therefore, 8 plus 3 is 11. Since it's positive, we may or may not write the positive sign. Great job! Now, let us try some more. This time, let us try to solve negative 1 plus negative 1. This time, we are going to add both negative integers. So our first added here is negative 1. And we are going to add negative 1. Since this is a negative integer, instead of moving to the right, we are going to move to the left. So let us move 1 unit to the left. There you go. Now we got negative 2. It means that when we add negative 1 and negative 1, we will get negative 2. Now let us try to solve this using our counters. Now let us try to solve this. We have negative 6 plus negative 4. Again, let us remember, when we are adding negative integers, we simply add the numbers and copy the negative sign. Therefore, 6 plus 4 is 10, and copy the negative sign, we will get negative 10. Now let us try to answer without using number lines and counters. We have negative 10 plus positive 5. When we are adding opposite sign, first is we need to disregard the signs. We are going to ignore whether they are positive or negative. And then, we need to subtract the numbers. Here we have 10 and 5. So let us subtract them. 10 minus 5 is 5. And then after that, let us copy the sign of the bigger number. When we are looking for the bigger number, we will also disregard or ignore the signs. So we have here 10 and 5, and we know that the bigger number is 10. Since 10 has negative sign, our answer will also be negative. It means that negative 10 plus positive 5 equals negative 5. Now let us check our answer using our counters. We have 10 negatives plus 5 positives. Again, we need to remember that a pair of 1 negative and 1 positive is equal 0. Now let us cancel the pairs. There, now we have 5 negatives left. Therefore, our answer is correct. Now let's have another example. Let us try to solve negative 7 plus positive 8. Again, we are going to disregard whether they are positive or negative. Let us subtract the numbers. 8 minus 7 is 1. Now, let's take a look at the sign of the bigger number. Here, the bigger number is 8. And since it is a positive integer, our sum or answer should also be positive. Therefore, negative 7 plus positive 8 equals positive 1. Now let us check if our answer is correct. We have 7 negatives plus 8 positives. Again, we need to cancel out the pair of 1 negative and 1 positive. There you go. Now we have 1 positive left. Therefore, our answer is correct. Subtraction of integers. First, let's have a quick review on the parts of subtraction. The first number, or the number that is being subtracted by another number, is called minuend. The second number, or the number that is subtracted from the minuend, is subtrahend. While the answer are called different. Now that you have recalled the parts of subtraction, you are now ready for our lesson. Let's go! Let's try to solve our first example. We have here positive 2 minus positive 1. I know that you already know the answer to this, but let me show you how to solve this using our number line. Here, the minuend, or the first number, is positive 2. And we need to subtract positive 1 from it. In addition, we learned that if the number is positive, we need to move units to the right. And if it's negative, we need to move to the left. But since subtraction is the opposite of addition, here, instead of moving this positive into the right, we are going to move to the left. And if it's negative, we will move to the right. Let's have an example. Here we have the subtrahend positive 1. It means that we need to move 1 unit to the left. There you go. Now, our answer is positive 1. This means that 2 minus 1 equals 1. Very good. Now, let us try to answer this using our counters. Here we have 2 positive, and we need to cancel out or subtract 1 positive. Therefore, we have 1 positive left. Awesome! This means that when we are subtracting positive integers where the minuend is greater than or equal to subtrahend, we will just simply subtract the numbers. Let's have another example. This time we have positive 2 minus positive 3. As you can see, the minuend here is smaller than the subtrahend. But let us try to answer this using our number line. We have the minuend positive 2 minus the subtrahend positive 3. Again, since this is positive and we are subtracting, we will move 3 units to the left. Therefore, our answer is negative 1. This means that 2 minus 3 equals negative 1. Now let's try to solve this using our counters. We have 2 positive, and we need to cancel out 3 positive from it. But as you can see, we only have here 2 positive. This means that we need to borrow. We need to borrow from 0. As you remember, a pair of 1 positive and 1 negative is equal 0. Now, we can add a pair of 1 positive and 1 negative here so that we will have 3 positive. At this point, we can now cancel out 3 positives. And now we have 1 negative left. Therefore, our answer is the same, which is negative 1. Wonderful! Now, how are we going to subtract without using any number line or counters? We need to remember that when we are subtracting integers, the first thing that you need to do is to change the operation into addition. So let us change minus sign to plus sign. There you go. And then the next step would be to get the opposite of the subtrahend. Here we have positive 7. And the opposite of positive 7 is? Yes, you are correct. It is negative 7. At this point, we are now having the operation of addition. This time, we need to follow how we add integers. When we are adding opposite signs, first is to ignore or disregard the sign. And then, subtract the number. So we have here 5 and 7. Now let's subtract 5 and 7. We will get 2. And then right after that, we are going to copy the sign of the bigger number. Here, the bigger number is 7. And its sign is negative. Therefore, our answer is negative 2. We have 7 negatives plus 8 positives. Again, we need to cancel out the pair of 1 negative and 1 positive. There you go. Now we have 1 positive left. Therefore, our answer is correct. Wonderful job, students. Now here are the things that you learned today.